addition to voting for president in the November election, all 201 state legislative seats will be on the ballot. Over the next few months, we'll bring you interviews with caucus and party leaders. This week, I spoke with Senator Susan Kent, leader of the Senate DFL caucus, about how the pandemic and the projected budget deficit are shaping priorities. The budget news is grim. The latest from Minnesota Management and Budget is that expenditures are expected to exceed revenues by $4.7 billion for the next biennium. How will that shape DFL priorities for the remainder of 2020 and into 2021?
Hi, Shannon. Thank you. Yes, I mean, we have been talking to MMB and looking at these projections, and we have known that the economic hit to our economy and our state and our families and our businesses is significant, and this is not unexpected. It's caused by the virus and the fact that we've had a lot of people lose jobs and had their work and their pay curtailed, and it is having a definite economic impact. In the ideal world, the federal government, frankly, would do a lot more to support Minnesotans and Americans across the country, our small businesses, because we know that if we can support all these entities through the virus, then we'll be in a much better position to come back strong. I will also say that, being able to contain the virus allows our businesses to stay open, allows people to get back to work better. And so the more we can do to support those efforts to prop up the economy while we're dealing with the reality of the virus, that'll just help us. But the challenge is, at the state level, we cannot deficit spend. That is why we are so reliant on the federal government to do that. We have made significant efforts here in the state. I'm really grateful for Governor Walz's leadership throughout this. The legislature has partnered, I think, relatively successfully through most of it. But this is a serious issue, and it's going to take very serious solutions as we move ahead. But hopefully, we can keep things from being worse than they have to be.
The coronavirus pandemic is highlighting discrepancies in many areas, including education, healthcare, housing, and employment. I'd like to begin with healthcare. The Minnesota DFL Values Project, which is a governing initiative jointly through the House and Senate DFL caucuses, is stating that all Minnesotans should have, quote, the care that they need. What does that mean?
That means that everybody should be able to afford good healthcare. Have quality healthcare, have prescription drugs that aren't overcharged to profit and benefit the big pharmaceutical companies. We need to focus, and this goes back to the question of the values and what this is with the values of the Minnesota Values Project and the values of the DFL as we approach all of these challenges. We need to put people first. We need to put the interests of our neighbors, of each other, our families, first, and support them to make sure that they have the tools to be able to work hard and contribute and get a good education and have a decent place to live so that we can have a thriving society and economy.
As you know, education is the second largest area in budget expenditures for the state of Minnesota. And right now, education is not functioning normally because of the pandemic. Despite the challenge of that, the projected deficit, your caucus wants to fully fund public education and provide affordable childcare and support job training and support higher education. Is that simply aspirational, or is there a way to actually do that?
I think it's important to realize that these conversations definitely predate COVID. In terms of making sure that we're fully supporting our educational system, both from our K-12 schools all the way through higher education and career and technical training, this is something that is good for our people and our families. It's good for our kids. It's also good for our workforce and our society to make sure that we're training people for the workforce of tomorrow. These are smart things to do. We know that we have underinvested in education over several decades. This is something that I've been talking about for a while, and others have as well. This is not new. We also know this is not necessarily something we can flip a switch on, and it's now become more challenging because of some of the economic ramifications of COVID. But we have to put a plan in place. And again, it goes back to, where are the priorities? The priorities are in making sure that we're not providing big tax breaks to big corporations. What we ought to be doing is preparing the workforce that they need to be successful. That way it's a win-win for everybody, particularly Minnesotans.
Parents and teachers are anxious about the 2020-2021 school year. School districts have laid out a variety of plans, but should it become necessary that all schools pivot to online learning only, will there be financial support for those schools, for the infrastructure, the broadband access? Can the money be quickly gotten to the schools? And ultimately, do you fear that this next school year may just be a loss?
I would say two things. First of all, I really appreciate the recommendation from Governor Walz and his team that gives flexibility for school districts to be adaptive to the situations that are in their communities. What is happening in one community may be very different than what's happening in another community, and they should have that flexibility. I think we all agree that the best solution is to have kids have as much in-school time as makes sense and as we can do safely, because that's what's best for their education, often for their families who need to work and rely on their kids being in school in order to do that. If kids are distance learning while they're supposedly earning a living, that's a really difficult spot for a lot of families. And I hear that loud and clear in my own community. But we also know that districts are going to have to be able to adapt over time and with changing circumstances. And if we end up having a really rough winter, you've made a really good point. One of the challenges is, and again, with the state not being able to deficit spend, and we are looking at providing additional resources to our schools so that they can staff up for extra cleaning and sanitation, for example. That is where it would be really helpful if Congress would step up and provide the supports to our schools, which will allow students to participate more actively in the classroom, for teachers to be there safely and to stay safe. It's too important that we do this. I know all families, all of us, myself included, are having these conversations about the trade-offs that are inherent here. There's no way to wave a magic wand and just get kids back in the classroom and have everything be back to normal. We know that's just not a reality because of this virus. But we need to do the best we can to support all students and to deliver an education that reaches all students, because it's just too important.
Changing gears a little bit, how has the death of George Floyd changed the Senate DFL caucus's approach to policing reform and racial inequity in Minnesota, and does more need to be done?
A couple of questions in there, and I will say that the Senate DFL caucus has supported police reform and accountability for some time. So that is not new to us. There is a lot of this that is not new to us. What has changed is sort of a broader understanding, I think, real sense of urgency here, a real sense of urgency from members of law enforcement who also want to see change, certainly from people in our communities who have fully understood much better, I think, the impact of on communities, Black communities in particular, of not feeling and being safe in their own communities. And in terms of moving ahead, yes, we were able to make a good start this past special session, and I am really grateful for that. And I'm really appreciative that we were able to work on a bipartisan basis, and everybody really come into the middle to get something meaningful done. But we know it's just a first step, and I am really anxious that we come back together in January and continue this very, very important work.
And finally, prior to COVID-19, affordable housing was a big issue in Minnesota. We just don't have enough of it. Now, with a faltering economy, people losing their jobs, it's perhaps even more crucial. What does your caucus propose to help people get access to affordable housing and stay in their homes?
I think you and I had a conversation about this several months ago, as a matter of fact. So again, this isn't new and it's not unique to Minnesota. The lack of affordable housing is a real challenge. There are a number of things we can be doing. There are things we can do during this interim prior to session even starting. But housing infrastructure bonds, for example, we've talked about that. That is a way that we can provide support to get developers working and building that affordable housing around our communities. We had an example this winter of unveiling a senior residential facility here in my district, and Governor Walz came out for that. And it's just an example of how it's a win-win-win, because you have seniors able to move into a place like that, and you also free up housing stock for families. So it's just a way of keeping the whole system moving is what's really important. And we know we have a number of tools available to us. This is an area, because it's not just a Minnesota problem. Again, I wish we could have some federal responses to this. This is a place where we could put people to work in an amazing way to build a lot of housing, to solve a whole bunch of other issues in our society by giving people some freedom to move around that they might not have had. And then at the same time, put people to work and have an economic impact in that way.
Senate Minority Leader Susan Kent, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shannon.